You're listening to Galaxy of Film.
Alright guys, welcome back to the brand episode of Galaxy of Film. I'm of course your host Max, and this week I'm joined with none other than my co-host Akari. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Happy to be on break still. How about you?
Man, you lucky bastard. I wish I was still on break, dude. That's for fucking sure. No, I'm back in school. Just had a week off. And of course, last week we were discussing, film we were pretty thankful for Thanksgiving. That was The Fisher King. After that episode, hit the road, packed up the car, we headed down to California. So I spent my break down near LA, which was pretty fun. Got to hit a couple really cool spots actually with our buddy Joe. Went to the New Beverly Cinema, which is owned by Tarantino. Got to work on a horror film set, which I don't think I can talk about just yet. But yeah, cool break. I'm definitely wishing I was still on fucking break, dude. What have you been up to for the last week?
Yeah, man. The last week, really, besides relaxing and just chilling in Florida where my mother is for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I've really just been I've been making sure that people notice the second film that I just put out. I've been trying to promote that a little bit on my own, because I'm not sure if you remember, but Man of the House got a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
For the audience that we have, it definitely got a lot of attention. So, I was curious. I was always curious to see what people's reactions would be to this one, because the martial arts niche is there, but it's definitely different compared to Man of the House. And I'm surprised to have as many people come to me and speak positive about it and actually enjoy it. I've gotten a lot of positive reactions out of connoisseurs. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. And if you haven't seen Twin Connoisseurs yet, give it a watch. It's written and directed by myself. I also did the music for it, and it was shot. It was actually an assignment for one of my classes, because I'm currently attending Savannah College of Art and Design, the Atlanta campus, and that was an assignment. So feel free to share your thoughts, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And link down below for the Letterboxd. If you guys have already watched, I'll leave a little drop or a little review on there. Coming to IMDb soon. We gotta push the IMDb reviews more, dude. I know we always do the Letterboxd one, but I always forget you can review on IMDb as well. But hell yeah, dude, good stuff. Can't wait to see the third film come out. That's the one I'm the most excited for out of your filmography so far, dude. Not to jump ahead, obviously, I'm when you have your flowers of Twin Connoisseurs, it's a great film as well. But 3, dude, you guys are running for 3. I'm very excited for that one. That's my favorite out of your filmography so far, dude. But
thank you.
We want to go ahead and introduce someone else to the podcast this week. Someone who hasn't been here in quite a long time. She just always likes to come over here and claim she's coming on episodes, but never does. And that's the one and only Naima Saeed. How's it going?
What are you talking about?
I'm just talking shit, dude. I'm talking shit. Welcome back, Naima.
Shit.
Welcome back. How's it going?
You know what? Starting off with shit, that's how you know this podcast is going to be good. I'm good until you open your mouth, so I don't know.
That's how it is. So,
yeah.
Well, good to get
I'm
you
glad
back
to be
on.
talking about a movie that I love, at least.
There we go, dude.
Can deal
There's
with
the energy. Hell yeah. I always think about when you recommend movies, Naima, I always think about the Christmas with the Campbells, and I'm like, God damn it.
No, you have to give context, okay? You can't just come out. I give the best movie recommendations. I have people come to me constantly like, I need a romance, I need a rom-com, or I need a raunchy, I need a horror movie, and I will give them. I'm talking about categorized, subgenre, American, international. I'm on it. Okay, Christmas with the Campbells, because you asked me for a Christmas movie that was supposed to be bad, and it has Baby Boy Justin Long in there. And for those that don't know the Baby Boy Justin Long lore, don't worry. There's going to be a whole video out there explaining it. Just know that it's Baby Boy Justin Long.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Go ahead and bust out your little IMDb book, homegirl. Go ahead and get it ready. I'm ready for that, dude. I don't know. Our listeners and viewers are going to be able to see some of that soon, actually, through another project I'm working on that we've been talking about too. So it'll be interesting, dude. Your whole little Justin Long lore and your
In my IMDb book.
your full origin is about to be revealed. How do you feel, man?
I'm excited. Listen, I call this the practice run for Jimmy Fallon.
Real sick, dude. On the practice run for Jimmy Fallon.
I knew you were gonna get pissed. That's why I said it. Now I'm excited. I'm excited. I just wanted to.
Fuck you, dude.
I wanted to piss you off for a second.
Well, guys, we're gonna go ahead and move on this week.
You know what it is? Wait, hold on. I'm not gonna be nice. I'm gonna be very unrelenting until I get my bloopers. When I get my bloopers, listen, Max, the documentary, it's gonna be great. You know, Jimmy Kimmel, who? You know what I mean? Until then, you're gonna get all the shit till I get those bloopers.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. Moving on, guys. We have a good episode for you this week. We're gonna be talking about one movie just this week too, and that one movie is, of course, Weapons. This came out earlier this year, I believe, in May. Naima, like you mentioned earlier, this is one you recommended to go ahead and cover on the podcast. I think you recommended this like as soon as you walked out of the theater, and you saw this multiple times too. Is that correct?
Oh my god, yeah, I saw it twice. I think I called Max as soon as I got out of the theater. I was like, we have to do this one.
Well,
I was like, we have to.
Here we are.
Here
How
we
do you feel?
I feel good. For those that haven't picked up, you need to look at my beautiful profile picture that we have on here since I'm not on camera today.
Yeah, dude, real sick.
That is my interpretation.
Real sick one, dude.
I
Only
see
the
it.
best here at
I
Galaxy
see
of
it.
Film. Only the best.
That's interesting. I feel like your arms should be like, wider out.
Listen, that's a still from a video. I tried my best. This is as soon as we
Oh.
finished the movie, we went and got ice cream. And that's all. Anytime I walked through a door or exited a door, that's all I did. I think for at least 24 hours.
Next time we shoot something, I'll make sure to get a nice tracking shot of Naima doing that across the set. In costume, too. We'll make that the running gag from now on, dude. Hell yeah.
Hey Max, you got a dolly?
Do you have a dolly? I do not. No, Matt does, though.
Okay, all right. I think it would be more effective as a dolly shot,
Then consider it
Like a
done.
dolly
We'll get
track.
the fucking dolly.
Or
like
do
a
you call it?
dolly
A
tracking
drone.
shot,
Mhm.
or drone. Or drone
Yeah.
could work too.
Or a drone.
Consider it done, Dakar.
But I like-
anything you need, bro. We'll make sure it's done. Trust me.
Yeah.
There we go. Only the best here, Galaxy Film. But let's go ahead and dive into what we have going on for this episode, guys. We have a little bit of news here, a little bit of announcements too, like I mentioned earlier. Twin Connoisseurs is now available, linked down below, both to the film and to the letterbox. Our next film is actually dropping in 2 weeks from now. It's called Of Books and Bullets. This is a film I directed. It's pretty short. It's for a 48-hour film festival. One of those challenges, if you're familiar with those, you have 48 hours, you're given a prompt, you're given a prop, and you're given a character. You gotta go out and make a film and have a full final cut for it. So this isn't anything super crazy. We're not doing like a full batch of promo for this one. It's very short, it's like 3 minutes. But I think it's fun enough for our audience to enjoy and appreciate it this for what it is. That'll be releasing December 25th. Naima, you just got done working on a film recently called Bad Company. Do you have anything you want to tell our listeners about that real quick while we have you this week?
Oh, it was wonderful. Oh my god, finished shooting it. How long has it been now? Like 2-ish weeks or so? I don't want to say anything else about it, you know? All I'm going to say is better alone than in bad company.
Oh, real ominous. Okay. Okay.
And I think Dakari might be doing some scoring for that, maybe? Maybe. It's a maybe. It's a maybe, guys. But I'm excited to get that edited. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I'm going to take Dakari's maybe as a yes maybe rather than a no maybe. But I think when he actually watches it, he's going to be like, I have to score it. It's just so good.
Okay. Sure.
Me, as I have not seen the footage.
Only the best here at Galaxy of Film, dude. Jesus Christ. I'm so glad I smoked before this episode.
That's fine.
It's the first set that Max hasn't been on of one of my films that I have, written and produced.
There you go. There you go, dude.
And we killed it.
Leaving the nest,
Ninja.
finally. They grew up so fast. So fast. let's go ahead and dive in the news real quick, though, guys, before we start talking about weapons. I have one piece of news. It's been kind of slow. I know, like, the big heavy thing we discussed recently was the news about the Ninja Turtles film being canceled and the new one happening. This is interesting, and I guess it kind of ties into something that's going to get mentioned this episode later on. Fuck it, let's dive in. Melania Trump announces that she'll be starting the Muse film production company to produce films.
Oh.
Really?
Don't know how. I have no clue how.
How's she gonna do that?
I couldn't tell you, dude. I couldn't tell you, but get the fuck out of my industry, bro. Like, genuinely, this shit pisses me the fuck off. Especially, we've ranted about this before earlier this year, Dakari. Earlier this season, even, about, like, the threats of tariffs on film and how wild and ridiculous that bullshit is. For that to have been spewed out, and then this be the kind of, I know not direct follow-up, it's been months since the tariff thing has been mentioned, but like this being the next like jab at the industry, at the art, at the craftsmanship of what we do, sincerely fuck you to the whole like Trump family.
You're gonna hire that AI actor, watch.
Tilly Norwood or whatever the fuck, yeah, dude.
I can't go out of the country and shoot my international films, but you want to hire an AI actor? Have fun.
That's crazy,
Fail.
isn't it? It's fucking nuts,
Fail.
dude.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dakari, how do you feel about this, other than just what the fuck? Because I know this, like, it's such an empty statement as well. The Muse film production. What are you going to do with this? You know?
I mean, we already know where Trump stands with this shit when it comes to filming outside of the U.S. and everything, so fuck them. They can't do shit.
There you go. I agree, dude. And Naima, how do you feel about this?
My agent, don't book me for any of that. I reject.
Yeah.
If it says Muse, what is it? Muse Production?
Muse Film Production Company, which is just a...
Who? A who?
Just sound basic as fuck.
Not only that,
Whatever
dude,
the
but
hell
just
it
a
is.
mouthful. Like, we need to just have... just ugly, dude. Just fucking ugly. Get out of my industry. Get out of my fucking industry, dude. I cannot believe that
Get
man's in
off
Home
my
Alone 2.
industry.
For real.
Get off my industry.
This old man yells at Cloud like in The Simpsons. Gotta love it.
I'm thinking
God.
Monster House.
Oh my god. Why did we do Monster House for Monster Mayhem this year? Will.
Listen, if you're doing that, I better be on it. That is like literally one of my absolute favorite animated films, so calm down.
Will.
I have it on DVD, bro.
Will. Get this together for
Amazing.
next season, dude. We need some more. We need some Monster House.
Yeah, the box was old.
Oh god, that's gonna wrap it up for news this
Weapons.
week. I know it's been a light week. I just was curious to hear if you guys had any thoughts on this. Because when I saw this on my feed, I just laughed, dude. This is just fucking ridiculous. But let's go ahead and take a quick little break. We're gonna go over our stream of the week, brought to you by none other than Tyler this week. When we come back, we're gonna talk about something a bit more lighthearted in a sense. That is the film called Weapons. So we'll be right back, guys.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Time for Stream of the Week. Man, on Hulu, I watched Girl in the Shed, the kidnapping of Andy Hernandez from 2022. I didn't know it at the time, but it was based on a real story. This teenage girl got kidnapped and locked in a shipping container. And the captive dude was like a loser who thought he was smart and believed in flat earth and all that. And I think the whole movie was based around how she tried to survive. Oh, hey, kitty. By trying to be his friend, and it was this weird Stockholm Syndrome thing. And then through the movie, you wonder, is she still acting, or is it genuine Stockholm Syndrome? It's like it's priming you to be pissed off when she becomes his best friend in the end, but thankfully that didn't happen, because this is based on a real story. And he go to jail. I give it it was just okay. I think the acting could have done a little work. I'm gonna give it a Nabu.
rating system is inspired by the planets from the Star Wars films. From highest to lowest, this is how we do our rankings. Number 5.
Coruscant. The entire planet is one big city.
Number 4.
Bespin. We're pretty far, but I think we can make it.
Number 3.
Hold me like you did by the lake on Naboo.
Number 2.
Set your course for the Hoth system.
And lastly, number 1.
Back to why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Alright guys, we're back from our break. Diving into weapons, this movie came out earlier this year, and it honestly flew under my radar completely. I didn't get a chance to watch this in theaters, unfortunately. I had to watch this on HBO Max. Dakari, did you catch this one in theaters?
Nope.
Okay. And Naima, like you already mentioned earlier, I know you saw this twice in theaters, which is cool for you, because this movie, spoiler alert, is pretty fucking cool, actually. And I think this kind of like took everyone by surprise this year. I don't know, we've had this argument in the group chat quite a bit now with like this year's releases in general. I'm not really feeling the 2025 lineup too much. I know Dakari, you feel differently. But like I feel like Weapons is one of the few films this year that's been like universally praised. You know, we've gotten like Sinners, One Battle After Another, and Weapons have been like the big three that everyone seems to have pretty mostly positive things to say about these. So yeah, this movie starts off kind of creepy. We're getting a little bit of a backstory. There's this elementary school classroom, and one day the teacher walks in and there's only one student left, and that's a little boy named Alex. The entire rest of the elementary class has gone missing. All the parents within the town are looking for their kids. Some have like Ring doorbell footage or security cameras that picked up footage of their kids leaving. And at exactly 2:17 in the morning, the kids kind of got up out of bed and all at once exited the homes and do like this little Naruto Sonic the Hedgehog run out the fucking door. They look like the anime kids that you're rolling your eyes at in middle school, dude. So that was great seeing that in this film. First off, and they all just like go running silently into the night, into the darkness, and they're not to be heard from again. So we're seeing this film from several different perspectives of different members within this small town. We're focusing with the teacher, who is kind of like in like a modern day witch hunt kind of scenario where the townspeople are all kind of like raising their pitchforks metaphorically, and they're kind of like, you know, during the town meetings or the school board meetings, they're raising questions. They're pissed off at this woman. They want answers. They want them now. So we cut from different perspectives to see, you know, Josh Brolin's character, who is a concerned dad of a little bully in this school, who is one of the kids that went missing. He's pissed off. He wants answers now. He's, you know, his anger is showing, his aggression is showing. We cut back to one of the perspectives of the school principal, who is trying to help the teacher just kind of lay low and play it cool for a bit. We're cutting to perspectives to one of the local cops, who is played by none other than Han Solo Alden Ehrenreich, which was really great to see him in another movie. I always love seeing him cast and stuff.
He looks so different in this movie. He looks like a dad in this movie, bro.
He does, dude. Yeah, he gives a good performance in this thing, dude. He really blends into the character of this one. You know, Cocaine Bear, I was seeing like, all right, like this is a little Han Solo-ish, I guess, in terms of comedy. You know, I had a little bit of a swagger.
Don't talk about Cocaine Bear, okay?
Cocaine Bear, bro.
So good. Anyways, yeah, we're seeing his perspective. He's, you know, is seeing the teacher on the side. We're cutting to this meth head's experience is what's going on too, because he actually stumbles upon finding the kid. Well, he's on like this whole drug run. It's very similar to like Euphoria in a sense, where he's getting high, he's just trying to get his money, and he's on this run from the cops throughout the entire time. But he stumbles across this house he's trying to break into. He finds the kids in the basement. He's getting ready to report them. And at that point, there's some weird shit happening, dude, that we get some more reveals for. There's this weird old like clown looking lady that keeps popping up for jump scares, very similar to like Insidious with the Darth Maul looking character. So we get some reveals for her. She's actually the aunt for Alex. She comes to town after having a sickness and not being kind of with the family for several years on end. And once she's here at the town and with her, I believe it's her sister, if I'm not mistaken, her sister and her husband, it's revealed that she's really a witch, and she's like possessing them and kind of forces them to be in this like trance-like state where they're not doing anything. They're still living and breathing and having to eat as well. And they can kind of have some sense of consciousness as well too. But for the most part, they're being mind controlled basically by this witch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get this back and forth eventually later on with little Alex kind of saving the day and using this witch's powers against her to go ahead and use the kids in what felt to me like a funny version of Rocky 2 almost, with all the kids chasing down the person, being the aunt in this scenario, and beating the fuck out of her until she's ripped apart completely to death. And then town kind of goes back to normal. The kids are all returned safe to home. All the parents are happy. It's kind of like if Stranger Things was just in 2 hours, funny enough, because we'll be talking about Stranger Things again later on. But yeah, dude, this movie kind of came out of nowhere, like I mentioned. It's odd because I feel like this is kind of a niche thing. It's an art house film, of course. And you don't really see those get a lot of attention, unfortunately, within the horror genre, especially, unless it's kind of like an A24 or a Neon pick. And this one got all that. So, Dakari, what were your initial thoughts after watching Weapons for the first time?
Well, going into it, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of was thinking that it was about maybe, I don't know, the kids kind of pick up on a signal that's been heard from afar or something like that, and they start running because they like are in tune with this signal, and the signal is like triggering something. I don't fucking know shit. But movie kind of went in a different direction. It's pretty much like the horror Pulp Fiction. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If you really think about it, it's like Pulp Fiction, but for horror movie fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's told from different perspectives, and all the different perspectives kind of tie into the climax. You know what I'm saying? Even if, one of the perspectives or slash characters kind of, get sidelined at the end. It gets sidelined because of the circumstances of the story, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen the movie. But yeah, I was caught off guard by this movie. I was pleasantly surprised at how cohesive it was and how everything came together so smoothly. It kind of creeped up on you, and it had that effect. All the performances were great. I feel like, I don't know, it's weird. I feel like Julia Garner's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julia Garner and Josh Brolin, I feel like they worked really well together. And if you were to ask me, I felt like they really worked well together. The actress who plays the little kid's aunt, who is revealed to be the person behind the weaponization of these children, was incredibly effective. She reminded me, she's like a female version of Ed Harris. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I thought she was really good. And the child actors in this movie were great too, specifically Alex. I mean, knowing the type of, how do I say this? Knowing the type of emotions that he had to channel for that role, specifically for Alex, because Alex was the one who knew about the incident the whole time. So the amount of emotions that he had to channel for that role are substantial, and I felt like he captured them to a T, in my opinion. But I was pleasantly taken aback by this movie. It's not, I wouldn't say surprised based off the fact that I didn't think it was going to be good. I had a feeling it was because I enjoyed Barbarian, but this one definitely went into a direction that I didn't think it was going to go. And for that reason, I was definitely surprised by it. It gives you a lot to think about. It gives you a lot to marinate over. It feels very pulpy, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, dude, beautifully put. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting of this one, to be honest, because the poster is just these kids running in the dark. I had heard this film can be compared to Stranger Things. I definitely get it, based off the brief kind of like otherworld sequence we get of Josh Brolin's character, where he's trying to track down his son for a moment. But I don't think it's fair to really compare this much to Stranger Things, other than having that one element. This isn't really a coming of age story necessarily. like that is. We're not sitting with the children and seeing them go through the motions. But echoing what you said too, Dakari, the performance of Alex in this film is fucking incredible. Like, absolutely. I don't know that kid's name off the top of my head, but I cannot wait to see where he's going to go with his career going forward if he decides to continue acting, because he's got serious potential in this. I also really enjoyed Josh Brolin's character in this. I mean, it's no secret Josh Brolin's a great actor, even when it comes to the comic book side of things. Obviously, he's Thanos and Cable. But I mean, like, No Country for Old Men, dude. I feel like as much praise as that movie gets, we only kind of focus on... I'm forgetting the actor's name at the top of my head, dude, but Shigar's character, the villain in that, Death. We always focus on his performance and not Josh Brolin's in that film, it feels like. So it's no surprise when watching this that he gives a top-notch performance throughout this entire thing. But yeah, what really caught me off guard, and it's unsettling as shit, is the design for these characters when they're in this possessed state with their eyes like completely bulging out of their head. They've looked like those fucking little pens that you'd get from the book fair with an animal. You know what I'm talking about? Where you squish them and their eyes pop out. They look like those,
exactly
dude.
like that.
And it's creepy as fuck.
Exactly like that.
Is it Benedict Wong?
Dude,
Is his
I'm
name? The
pretty
guy who
sure.
plays.
Yeah, I love Benedict Wong. He
Oh
did
my
phenomenal.
God.
But Zach Krieger probably had one of those pens when he was a kid and probably took inspiration from that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, there's a dog on your balls.
Yeah,
I remember there was a dog on it. There was a dog on his balls in Kick-Ass too.
Yeah, dude. So I just love that design. Benedict Wong gives a great performance, and then when we cut to that reveal of like his character in that trance and is going after our lead, it's just fucking nuts. It's so unsettling. This movie knows when to be creepy while being minimalistic at the same time, and it's really effective. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I feel like Weapons is going to be one of those films where 5-6 years from now, we're going to be comparing this to the likes of like Hereditary, even in terms of that kind of like subtle creepiness.
Oh yeah.
And it's just being done not only well in terms of effectiveness to achieving that scare and that unease kind of feeling for your audience, but with it looking good on camera too. Like, this movie balances that really, really well. So yeah, I really liked all the performances in this. I think my only like gripe with this movie is that it doesn't know what it's trying to say at certain times. Like, a good bit of this, I'm really under the impression like, oh, this is going to be like an allegory for like school shootings to some degree. The kids go missing, weapons. We have this sequence of like Josh Brolin in like the nether realm or the upside down, if you will, for the sake of simplicity. And we literally see like this video game like icon of like an assault rifle going above the house and rotating with like no context. We don't return back to that kind of idea. So like, I really thought we're going to have either Josh Brolin's character or someone else in the mix kind of go to that like PTA, that town hall settings, and try having the classic argument of like video games cause violence or something like that. You know, I felt like we're leaning into something this movie never really explored.
But I don't agree with that.
Oh, I mean, okay. Well, so how did you interpret any of this movie, Naima? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll jump into that, but I'm saying
good.
that comment.
Okay.
If I'm watching this movie and he's going in and he's talking about gun violence or talking about video games rotting the brain or how people say TV rots the brain, which in my opinion is very untrue, but maybe I'm just the exception. I don't know. I don't. It's that cliche for me. I think this movie didn't give me a cliche to attach to. I think there's ways of using the metaphorical, you know, how they had the assault rifle, the idea of these kids going missing. And even when the kids came back, they never fully came back. So when you're thinking about victims, whether they're victims of gun violence and unfortunately they pass away, or victims who have been shot and scarred for life, I mean, you can look at it from those type of directions. Or that's just not the base of what this movie's supposed to be about in general. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it's more tongue-in-cheek and more horror-esque rather than trying to send a message. But if you want to look at it from a message perspective, if you give it to me straightforward, I'm not going to respect it as much. You know, I think it's kind of nice that it kind of leaves you in this open space of what do these kids really represent? Because
That's
at the
fair,
very
yeah.
end, They come back, but they don't come back. Some of them
Mhm.
do, some of them don't. In school shootings, when people are victims, let's say the ones that, are just wounded, some of them do not come back from that. And some of them do, even the ones that do pass. So, I mean, you can look at it kind of like that if you want to take it the direction of, gun violence and whatnot, which is a horrible problem. And I think maybe leaning into that a little bit more, sure, yeah, that would be very effective, especially in this, time that we live in. But I also think if you're so straightforward about it,
Mhm.
I think no one's going to listen. I think the message isn't going to be there. It kind of reminds me, and I hate to use this, and first of all, never compare this to Stranger Things. No.
No,
But
please.
no, don't do that.
No, and
No,
I love Stranger Things, but no, please.
no. And even it's very different. I think, like you said, 5 and 10 years or whatnot, it'll be the same scope as like Hereditary, but they're also completely different on kind of the way they approach. Like Hereditary was so
Yeah,
dark the entire way through,
Mhm.
but this
yeah.
movie, it also has this level of comedy, like pure and utter comedy. And again, I'm not even getting into my review. I'm just getting into this real quick, but there's this level of comedic relief throughout this whole film. You don't even know at some points what genre you're watching. And again, I'll get into that in a little bit.
Exactly.
That's a good
It's
point because
it's
I
so
tripped Kate
different,
up
yeah.
too. Yeah.
hmm But I'll let you
Yeah.
finish and then I'll get into my spiel.
That's kind of all I had to say with that. But like to kind of tail on what you were just saying, no, exactly. When it comes to you're not sure what genre it is, almost too, because it's kind of it's balancing things well if it's comedic aspects. When we have the first jump scare, dude, I've never seen Caitlin literally like jump out of the couch because she had no clue we're watching a fucking horror movie, and all of a sudden the surround sound just blaring. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I did really enjoy Weapons. Um, she didn't, unfortunately. I'm curious to
Oh.
hear what her overall rating of this would be. But yeah, let's Naima, go ahead and dive into your review for this thing.
Okay, well, I'm speaking for me and my husband, Fatis, because he came and saw it with me twice, so he absolutely
Ah,
loved the
okay,
movie.
hell yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely loved it. He wishes he could come and say his 2 cents, so I'll speak for both of us.
Hmm.
So y- we are really big about we don't watch trailers. Like that's how I had no
Mm.
spoilers for Final Destination 6 Bloodlines. I refused to watch one single trailer. But with
Uh,
this one, even if you happen to catch it, because sometimes it just be coming up and you can't stop it. Nothing spoiled it. There was no indication of spoiler. What they did such a good job with their marketing that I didn't know i- if this was a which movie couldn't even think about that. Like it gave me Autopsy of Jane Doe energy, where it's like I have no idea what subgenre this is going into.
Mm-hmm.
I have not one clue where the story is going. I have not an idea of even the storyline. Like if somebody were to ask me right before going into this movie, I have no clue. So I appreciated that so much. And I'm a huge fan of Barbarian, obviously. And I also am a huge
mhm.
fan of Miss March, which is another movie he directed, which is a raunchy comedy, which is so odd to me because how do you go from raunchy comedy to Barbarian? And then Barbarian to Weapons kind of makes sense. And I'm not mad about it. I
Mm-hmm.
love the dynamic of this director. So if you're watching Zach, you know,
I need to watch
would love to
Barbarian still, dude. That was something that like
dude,
Danilo and
don't
Jake really
Barbarian's
praised.
good.
Yeah.
it's
Barbarian's
phenomenal.
good.
Do not look at anything. I'm talking about me and Fatis when we
Don't look
watched
at
it.
nothing.
We went blind. I mean, I didn't even know what the log line was. I mean, I went in so blind. It was the best experience ever. Like I watched it on TV. It was like I didn't even watch it in theaters, Barbarian. And I'm telling you, one night we were sitting down, I saw Baby Boy Justin Long was in it, and I was like, okay, cool. Um, I'm not spoiling any more than that. And then in the
Okay.
beginning, I'm like, where the hell is this movie going? And then I'm like, oh. And then later, I'm like, oh. And then I'm like, damn, that was good. But if I didn't go in blind, I don't know how the experience would have been because I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
Zach Krieger has a way with doing his storytelling. He loves his
He does.
little vignettes, as you were saying about like Pulp Fiction, but everything ties in. And I think Weapons definitely does
Yeah.
that way more than Barbarian. Not to say it's bad. I'm just saying he really leaned into that for Weapons. Barbarian, I'm not going to spoil anything, but when you watch it, you'll understand about this dynamic that I'm talking about. But I'm not going to say anything
Oh
more. And I
yeah.
love Bill Skarsgård. Anyway, so going back to Weapons, first amazing cast. I mean, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
James. James, what the hell am I saying? Josh Brolin, phenomenal. Benedict Wong, phenomenal. Alden, phenomenal. Baby boy Justin Long makes a cameo, which let me tell you, I was in the movie theater and I went, and it's him with Aquamarine, Sarah Paxton. I was like, in the world. And it was the first time I think in a horror movie he doesn't die, which is insane to me. I was like, wow, what a new, I'm proud. I'm proud for a moment. And fun fact, Zach Krieger is actually married to Sarah Paxton. Fun fact.
Oh shit.
Miss Aquamarine
Wow.
herself. Yeah, yeah, that's why I am. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not mad about it. Listen, amazing, good for them. But I loved Austin Abrams' performance. Like,
Mm.
I seen him in Euphoria, but his character,
Mm-hmm.
I adored. Like, whatever his little junkie, homeless, whatever the hell he was, his character was the most fascinating to me. I enjoyed James. I think his name was James. That's what I was getting at. He, I think his vignette or whatever, that was my absolute favorite. And then the moment where he snaps and that whole segment between him and Josh Brolin, where he just goes, and then he runs toward him and Josh like hits him in the head and then he thinks he's down. He gets back up and then he gets smacked again. He keeps I don't think
That
I
shit
laughed
was so funny. That
any
shit was
harder
so
in the
funny.
theater. Oh my God. I even thinking about it, I'm still cracking up on how funny that scene was. But Julia Garner, she knows how to hold her own as a lead.
She does,
The
dude.
first time I ever saw her was Inventing Anna, and she was phenomenal in that.
Okay.
So, yeah, which is
Interesting.
a fantastic. It's based, I believe it's a narrative show based on a real story or based on like, something that really like a person and their whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, going back to the film, I think again, when you do everything right, when you do your marketing right, when you do your actors right, and you actually give us a story that you have no clue where you're going and it's purposeful, it's so powerful. Because
Yeah.
again, you're thinking it's a horror film, you're going into this, and it is, part of its genre is horror, but obviously it's thriller and comedy and drama. I mean, there's so many to go into it. And because it's so dynamic, you
Action.
can kind of put it anywhere. Would you say? Action? Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you're going through these based on the perspective of each person and you don't realize the intersection between all of these characters. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what's kind of lovely is that you don't really know where it's going. And then you get the point of view from, let's say, Alden's character, which he looks extremely different. Oh my God, I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah.
You guys were
Yeah.
mentioning that earlier. He did amazing, by the way. But watching, Julia's character first and kind of going through her cycle, and you're thinking, oh, maybe she did something. And you go through Alex's character, and you're like, oh, maybe he did it. And you're going through all of these characters trying to figure out who's playing the strings here, what happened to these kids,
Mm-hmm.
what subgenre am I watching? Is this paranormal? Is this, witch? Like, is this a creature? Is it a kill? Like, what is it? Aliens? Like, I don't know. So I love that at least when you go in, there is no, unlike a lot of horror movies, especially horror movies that have came out in 2025, which I would say really not that much that were good, to be honest. Besides Sinners, and I know Sinners isn't technically under the horror, it's under the horror umbrella. And that also threw me for a loop. I did not know it was a vampire movie until maybe like 20 minutes in or so. Uh, and
Wow.
yeah, because when he said, "Can I come in?" I was like, only vampires ask if you can enter into their home. That's when I figured it out. But I love the idea of you have to guess. And as you're going through their stories and you see the same exact scene, but from the point of view of the other character, as a filmmaker also that dynamic is fascinating and I love that and I would love to be able to do something like that and I can't even imagine kind of the challenge of having to write and put something like that together, especially like when I did Bad Company. That's something I kind of took in mind and I tried to do a much smaller scale of that to just kind of see how it would work because I love this like secondary or like full
Mm-hmm.
story to something that's half or whatnot. But anyway, and then Gladys's character, amazing. And I know some people dish or
Yeah.
some people laugh, but at the end of the day, she did her job so well
Mm-hmm.
that
I
at
agree.
first you view her as this red herring, but she really is the problem, and you don't really understand why. And then when you finally it breaks down to it, you're like, oh shit. Like that, it kind of comes out of nowhere. but it comes out of nowhere in the best of ways. Like we were talking about The Idol, the show earlier, and how it kind of just jumps into something without like giving us a breather, and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
This it worked. Because we're waiting
Mhm.
this whole damn time to figure out what the hell is going on. And then when it actually hits, it's like, oh, and that's something that Zach Krieger, I think, does really well in the work that he does, at least for the last two films that I've seen him do. And his freaking raunch comedy, which is crazy. Great movie, by the way. Miss March, if you haven't seen it. Uh,
Okay.
so for me, the whole dynamic of the film works. There really wasn't a moment where I was kind of taken out,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. I think there isn't over explaining I want to sit here and do. I think there is just some cinema when you watch there's that click of understanding of good cinema and bad cinema, of is it tongue in cheek or is it trying to take itself seriously. And I think what this movie did right is the moments it wanted to be serious, it did, and the moments it didn't, but it worked. And
Sure.
that's what I think he's doing so well. And I think the actors portrayed that perfectly, especially the child who played Alex. Because even there's a moment where you're like, what did he do? And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they really tease it throughout the whole movie, but not an annoying tease. Like you're genuinely sitting there trying to figure out what's going on. And I think when it finally does kind of wrap in the end, and it wraps, but not gives you all the answers, kind of like the movie Us, like Jordan
Okay.
Peele's
Yeah,
Us.
yeah, yeah.
I I
Great
enjoyed that
movie.
movie. It is a phenomenal movie, but I my one critic of that movie is that it tied up so neatly at the end. I'm talking about all of our answers, all of our questions were answered. There was not one thing that I left and I was like, I wonder. Like I feel like they gave me everything. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Uh, Fantastic film, but it was a little anticlimactic because of that. At least with
Okay.
this movie, we got our bow,
Mm-hmm.
but we also didn't because we understand
Yo.
who Gladys is, but we don't know who Gladys is. Like we have
Right.
enough, but not too much. And I love, listen, when the kids get at her at the end, oh, the whole
Oh,
theater
it's
was
great.
cheering.
Oh, that was
That's an
one of the
ending right
most
there.
that was one of the most satisfying things I've seen in movies this year,
I think
man.
I
we stood
agree.
up and clapped. Like I think we were clapping in the theaters. And and
That
and
shit
it's
was amazing.
phenomenal. I mean, I'm telling you, it was like, and when you have an audience effort, and I think another thing is you both didn't watch it in theaters. I think there's always going to be something different when you're watching something in theaters,
Mm-hmm.
and especially when the crowd interaction is like awesome and they're cool, they're not the shushers,
Hmm.
and when they're up and they're like interacting with you, there's just something much more powerful or emotional when you're watching it, and then we finally get this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we get this, and how I'll end it is we get this powerful revenge, on Gladys. We get it. But then, when that, adrenaline dies down, we don't realize like some of these kids never snap out of it. We also realize the kids are back, but they're not back. We realize the parents are not free.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get that. We get the satisfaction of understanding it's done, but it's not. And I think that kind of goes back to what I'm saying about victims in general, is that you can get justice in life and you can get, something bad can finally end, but you don't understand the devastating effects that it has after the fact. And I think
Hmm.
at least in Weapons they showed that.
Yeah.
In the narration they say, some of them they're still in that trance. Like, they still haven't woken up from it. My parents haven't,
Hmm.
I fed them and I took care of them and then I had to put them somewhere and I had to go and live my life, but
Mm-hmm.
I take care of them. And it's just like you get a happy ending, but it's so realistic because life is not this pretty bowed ending of, princess and, Disney. Or can I even say Disney? I'm scared they're gonna sue me. But you get this realistic, like, I got my justice. But I still have to go on with my life, even with these pieces that may still not be healed or they're broken or the damage that's left. And I think that's powerful enough. And I think that's why I enjoyed the movie so much that I went and saw it twice.
Beautifully put, dude. Beautifully put.
That's good.
Um, I was looking up real quick on a little bit about the director and Julia Garner. The only Julia Garner film I've seen besides this was Fantastic Four earlier this year, which is kind of nuts. And I haven't seen
Mm.
any of the other directors' work. Excuse me. I'm still gonna watch Barbarian. That movie for me, like, I really, I really swept it under the rug because it reminded me so much of Black Phone, just based off what I saw for the advertisements. But I heard nothing but incredible things. So I think I'm finally sold on watching that after seeing Weapons, dude. I'm curious. Let's go ahead and dive into our ratings for this movie. Dakari, we're putting you up first for this one, dude. What did you rate Weapons?
I loved it, man. I'm giving this a best pin on the way to Coruscant.
Okay, shit.
Um, it's not a full Coruscant for me because while I do like the ending and while I do understand, the ambiguity of it, I felt like we could have gotten a little bit more closure. The movie kind of just ends, and it makes sense for it to just end because, like, where the hell can you go after what just happened? But then again, that question can be applied in a different context too, because where the hell do they go after this?
Yeah.
I was just curious. You know what I'm saying? That's really my only issue. That's my only issue with the movie. I mean, I thought this was fantastic. Um, I really, really liked how it felt like it felt like a mini series. It felt like a mini series. And I know I did made a comparison to Pulp Fiction, and a lot of ways it is like Pulp Fiction, but it felt more so like a feature length anthology series or a mini series. You know what I'm saying? Because each perspective represents kind of like an episode until the final climactic bout with the kids and Gladys, and all these genres are married together so beautifully. It's an action movie, it's a dark comedy, it's a thriller, it's a suspense, it's a drama, it's a horror. It does so many things right. And there's not a lot of movies this year, with the exception of Sinners, that you can say that marries all these genres together so perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And I like Barbarian. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. There's some plot holes in it that I picked up on that I wasn't too fond of. But I enjoyed Weapons way more compared to Barbarian because I feel like with Weapons everything was intentional. Everything that you saw in Weapons was intentional. It was supposed to happen. We were supposed to see it the way that it played out. And shout out to Zach Kreger, man. I mean, you made another this is definitely at this point in your career, this is your magnum opus. I cannot wait to see what else he does. Yeah, I loved it.
Hell yeah, dude. Beautifully put yet again, dude. For me, this is a Bespin. Like I said, I wish I had a bit more clarity on the message. I like the ambiguity of this film, don't get me wrong, especially at the ending. And I do love everything that you're saying about this, Naima, about how, like, this could be a metaphor for victims in these different senses. And, like, I understand, like, I don't understand, but I get the concept of that lingering kind of part of you missing after experience like that with something very traumatic. So I don't know. I think all of that is great, and I think it translates really, really well in this film. I can't help but feel like there's this weird section in the middle that just the message is really crystal clear in the beginning, crystal clear in the end. We're just not making that bridge for it. So I don't know. I don't think this is something that, like, I hope to God this doesn't turn into something like Quiet Place where it becomes like a franchise. We're seeing things over explained.
God,
I
please
love
do.
Yeah,
the
nah.
simplicity of this, and I love Gladys in this too. She's a great villain. You fucking hate her in
Absolutely.
this. I'm surprised. I don't know if you guys ever watched this series, but she feels very much in the vein of like American Horror Story, especially like
Yeah.
earlier seasons of that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
You
she
know,
she gives me Angela Lansbury energy.
yeah, she's kooky in a
Yeah.
way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
She's very, very peculiar.
she has like sitcom kind of like serial energy put into this villain, who's super mysterious and just fucking creepy on top of this. So she's incredible in this film. I also want to go ahead and acknowledge real quick a little bit about the parents' performances. I couldn't tell you the actors' names in that, but just that entire sequence where like Gladys first takes control of them, and we're getting the fork stabbing, so fucking eerie, so eerie. Like you really do expect almost for like blood to just start gushing out, and it's even more impactful for it to not. We just consistently see like them disfigure themselves like that. So I don't know. I really do enjoy Weapons. I think this movie does a lot right. I just wish I had something to just bridge it a little bit tighter for me. That's my only real complaint with this. But definitely excited to check out more that this director has done. Finally, we'll give Barbarian a chance after watching Weapons. And I think it's pretty
Going
safe to
blind.
say.
Going blind.
Absolutely, but I think it's safe to say at this
Yeah,
point, too,
definitely.
like, Weapons is definitely in, like, my top 10 of 2025 for sure.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely. Might
way for
might even
sure.
be might
Top
even be in
5.
my top five.
Yeah,
Me
seriously.
too.
Yeah.
So, Naima, let's hear your final comments and ratings for Weapon.
Yeah, first and foremost, the knife, oh sorry, the fork stabbing. I'm just so
Mm-hmm.
fascinated to know how they did that. And
That's
again,
crazy.
I really want because you have to understand them sitting still and just grabbing it and stabbing. There's not one in like movement. I'm so curious to know how they actually how they actually pulled that, like the practicality of it
Yeah.
or the CGI or whatever.
Exactly.
There
Exactly.
are movies where I'm so fascinated to know how they do these things when they're done right.
Hmm.
But uh the other thing I will say though is when you go in to watch Barbarian, obviously Weapons is his most I think his best work yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Yeah.
you watch Barbarian, obviously keep that in mind. But I think for what Barbarian was, especially when it came out, and that's another thing to consider, is
When
when
it
the
came
movie
out.
came out and the impact that it did when it did come out. Kind of like Evil Dead. If you watch Evil Dead now, yeah, haha, funny, hilarious. But for the time,
It was
everyone
different.
loved Evil Dead. It was
It
different.
was
I mean, they
different.
made a
Mm-hmm.
second to make they made the second movie as a remake of the first movie just because they wanted to approach it in a different way. Whatever. So the point being
It was
is
better.
better, so when you watch Barbarian, just keep that in mind. But you can see, that's what brought him, in my opinion, as a horror director. And I think that's the opportunity that gave him to be where he is now with Weapons. Anyway, just wanted to make that
Yep.
note. And again, all of my opinions, especially about what I think the meaning of this movie is my opinion. I
Sure.
genuinely have no idea what Zach's like. I could look it up. I could watch interviews. I didn't do any of that. I could. Maybe I should have. I don't know. Sometimes you want to, sometimes, you don't want to know all the details. And sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, they don't even know what the message is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some that they're like, there is no message. Or there was no intention like everyone's making it out to be. Everyone's gonna have opinion. I genuinely, don't quote me. I have no idea what his intention was. That is just what I personally took out of it. Anywhoosies, my rating is a Coruscant.
Okay, shit.
Fair.
There are listen, Coruscant, a little bit of butter, some oil, yeah, the whole shebang. You know,
That's funny.
there are movies. I'm not gonna say they're perfect, but there are movies that are just I don't even want to say nearly perfect because there are just movies where they deserve the praise that they get. And there are
Yeah.
movies where, people are going to find their things. And listen, I totally understand that little ambiguity at the end and how it could bother. And that's in a very, very, I guess, objective thing. Some people like that and some people don't. So that is also something to consider. Some people love having answers and some people are like, the more ambiguity, the better. For me, I'm a little happy middle. I like
Fair
to be
enough.
like
Mhm.
satisfied, but I don't want the whole, I don't want it too sweet. Like I need to know what I need to know, and that's it. Let my mind have the imagination. And I think that's why I give this movie a chorus on. Again, I don't believe in movies are subjective. It's to each their own. I think that this is a phenomenal film. I think that everything, like you said, it had an intention, but I also think it was fun. And it was exactly what I was looking for, and it was in my top 5 best 2025 movies that I saw. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 5. Why the hell not? I think it
Hell
was
yeah.
great. Great job.
Hell yeah, dude. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. And speaking of things that are
Listen, if I
great,
watch it twice in theaters, it's always gonna be Coruscant.
hell yeah, dude.
See, now that's different because I've seen Sinners like I probably maybe like 5 times in theaters.
Shit.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Sinners is a Coruscant too.
absolutely, absolutely.
Coruscant, cream cheese, maybe some
Oh my
Nutella, the whole
god,
shebang.
dude. You and Harold. Only the best here at Galaxy of Film. Oh, jeez. I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode, guys. I know next week, Dakari, we have a little bit of a genre switch up. We're talking about Wicked for Good in The Wiz. So, not horror necessarily, but still some villains. Kind of staying in vein with that one with the holiday season,
I mean, I don't know. I haven't even seen the first Wicked, dog. So I don't know. I'll probably talk about the
You went to the
Wiz.
second, but you didn't watch the first Wicked?
Not yet, bro.
I
That's
didn't.
part of the podcast, Naima. We gotta get there.
Listen, I'm not
Oh
going to be on it, but I'm going to say
man.
my 2 cents. All I'm going to say is I saw the Broadway show when I was 16. It was the first Broadway show I ever saw.
Oh, that's cool.
I fell in love with it so hard. The original cast recording, the actual Broadway performances, that I'd never watched the movies. I can't. I can't even listen to the soundtrack. I'm set in my Broadway ways. I can't do it.
Sure. That's
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I love The Wiz. Wiz is phenomenal. You better talk some good shit about it.
See, that's the thing, and I'm gonna let you in on some history, right? So,
Oh
the
shit.
the original 1974 Broadway show, was it 1974 or 1975? I think it was 1975 Broadway. But yes, the original 1975 Broadway production, the costume designer and director was Jeffrey Holder, who was my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Hell yeah, dude.
Dude, that would be my fun fact.
Well, it
Yeah,
is. You just
yeah,
spoiled it, Naima. Sick one, dude. Come on now, dude. Come on.
yeah.
Listen, for whoever makes it to the end of the podcast and listens to our little spiel at the end, good for them. You know what? They deserve to have it spoiled, okay?
Hmm.
Only the best here at
Hell.
Galaxy of Film.
Yeah,
Well,
so
Sorry, that's
the Wiz,
amazing.
and yeah, I agree. So the Wiz I always have the Wiz in a special place in my heart for sure.
hell
You
yeah,
know,
dude.
even the movie. I really enjoy the movie.
No, the
Movie?
movie is good. Now listen, there are some Broadway shows that turn to movies or vice versa, and they're both great. But
Mm.
for
Hmm.
me, there's something about Wicked. I don't know what it is. I just can't get into the movie and I can't get into the soundtrack. That's just my one exception. I don't know why. Don't ask me. There's no reason. It's just I've made up my mind.
It's
Yeah.
fair, dude. Well, you'll be able to
I
hear all
haven't
of our
even
thoughts
seen
on it.
Wicked, so I don't know.
You'll be able to hear all of our thoughts on it next week, guys, when we're talking about the sequel and The Wiz. I know Brandon already talked about the original Wicked film last year and The Wizard of Oz, so go ahead and check out that episode to get caught to speed. Brandon will be returning next week to go ahead and give his thoughts on that one, too. We also got some of our actors from Galaxy of Film making an appearance to give their thoughts as well, so very excited to go ahead and have that little episode come up. It'll be a good time, dude. Spoiler alert, fuck, you know what, Naima's here, we can go and spoil this, dude. Spoiler alert, we got Shannon coming back, so sorry, Naima.
I already knew that because it was in the group chat, so it wasn't
Oh
really a spoiler.
Lord.
Oh. And I do like The Wizard of Oz. I grew up with that. Great. I feel really bad
Yeah, it's a classic.
about the history. No, it's a classic. Listen, I grew up, I love The Wizard of Oz. It just saddens me the history and kind of this curse that's on Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Right.
But the movie is a classic, phenomenal. Had to give my 2 cents. I'm not going to be on it next week. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Well, thank you for our listeners for sticking around for this long. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us an iTunes or Spotify review. It truly does help with the show much more than you can imagine. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
You can find all our other podcast, original films, articles, and music on our website, galaxyoffilm.com. We're also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content and our Facebook fan club for early access to our films.